The dimensional gateway. Science proves your intuition is real. But wait, before you dismiss this as pseudoscience, listen to what I'm about to tell you.
For 20 years, the CIA funded a program called Stargate. Not a movie, not a conspiracy theory. A real, documented, declassified program of psychic espionage based on something called remote viewing.
Remote viewing?
They trained ordinary people, not psychics, not mystics, ordinary people to access information across distance, without internet, without satellites, without drones, only with the mind.
That sounds like a B-movie script.
It does, until you see the declassified documents, until you realize the results weren't just curious, they were usable. The Pentagon used this data in real operations. Congress renewed funding year after year. Why?
Why?
Because it worked.
Think about that for a moment. The most powerful military on Earth spent 20 years and millions of dollars training people to see across continents with their minds. They wouldn't do that if it didn't work. They wouldn't keep funding it if the results were random.
So consciousness can access information across distance?
That's what the declassified data shows. That's what the CIA confirmed. That's what science can no longer deny.
But what does that mean?
It means everything you've been told about the limits of your mind is wrong. It means your consciousness isn't confined to your skull. It means you have access to information that exists beyond ordinary perception. Now breathe deep, because here comes the question that changes everything.
If the mind can cross continents, can it also cross time? Researchers at Princeton, Stanford, and Duke studied something that still divides opinions today: precognition, the ability to feel the future before it happens.
Feel the future?
Imagine flipping a coin, but feeling in your gut the answer before you flip it. Not 100% of the time, but statistically above chance, significantly above what random guessing would produce.
That's what the studies show?
That's exactly what the studies show. A small but consistent glimpse into the future. And when you look at the data, the probability is so high that it can't be explained by luck.
So people can actually predict the future?
Not predict perfectly, but access it, feel it, sense it before it arrives in ordinary time. And here's what's profound. You've probably experienced it yourself.
What do you mean?
Think about it. Have you ever felt something strange before an accident happened? Have you thought of someone right before they texted you? Have you had a dream that came true? Maybe you didn't call it precognition, maybe you called it coincidence. But what if it wasn't?
What if it wasn't?
What if it was time whispering secrets before they arrive? What if your intuition was actually your consciousness accessing information from the future?
And if that's true,
then time isn't a line, it's a web, and you're connected to all of it. Carl Jung called it synchronicity, meaningful coincidence. You think of someone you haven't seen in years, and they call you. You dream of a symbol, and it appears on a billboard the next day. No cause, but undeniable meaning.
but that's just luck, right?
Is it? Because the statistical probability of certain coincidences is so low that it would be easier to win the lottery twice, blindfolded. And yet these coincidences keep happening.
Why?
Maybe because reality, as Darius Wright proposes, isn't random. It's a field of resonance between dimensions, like your consciousness is an antenna tuning into parallel realities.
So synchronicity is real?
Synchronicity is evidence of something real. Evidence that consciousness isn't confined to the present moment. Evidence that you're connected to a larger field of information.
But if the mind accesses dimensions, where exactly is it? In the brain or somewhere else?
The biggest mistake of modern science was this. For 300 years, science was built on one assumption. Matter is all that exists. Everything that can't be measured is irrelevant. Intuition, emotion, synchronicity, just noise from the brain.
But what if that's backwards?
What if consciousness is the foundation and matter is a product of it? Like a shadow dancing as the light of mind moves.
That would change everything.
It would. And that's what researchers like Darius Wright are exploring. And the implications are profound. You're not a body that has consciousness. You are consciousness experiencing a body.
If that's true,
Then you're not trapped in space, and you're not trapped in time. Darius Wright proposes that there's a real, measurable mechanism that allows consciousness to access information outside ordinary reality. He calls it the dimensional gateway.
the dimensional gateway.
Imagine ordinary reality, like a room, logic, linear time, physical senses. Everything is there. But there's a hidden door in the wall, and it doesn't open with force. It opens with sensitivity, with intuition, with presence.
And when you open it,
When you open it, you access data, signals, patterns that haven't arrived on your clock yet, but they already exist in the field. This field is what Wright calls non-local consciousness.
and you can access it?
You already access it. You just haven't recognized it yet. But after today, you will.
What seemed spiritual became scientific. What was mystic talk now has backing from universities and declassified documents, and what you called intuition might be your most powerful tool.
Because if all this is true, and the data shows it is, then you're far more than you've been led to believe.
And in the next section, we're going to dive into the quantum revolution that explains how this actually works. Prepare yourself. Reality is about to bend to consciousness.
Pause for a moment, because what you just heard, remote viewing, precognition, synchronicity, it's just the beginning.
Most people stop here. They think it's interesting, they move on, they forget about it, and they go back to believing that their intuition is just a feeling, just emotion, just luck.
But you're not most people, because you're still here, you're still listening, which means you're ready for what comes next.
Because in the next section, we're going to show you the science that explains all of this, the quantum physics that proves consciousness is non-local, the research that shows how your mind can access information across space and time, the mechanism that Darius Wright has spent decades uncovering.
And here's what's crucial. You need to understand this mechanism, because once you do, everything changes.
You'll understand why your intuition works. You'll understand why you've had moments of knowing that you couldn't explain. You'll understand why synchronicity keeps happening in your life. And most importantly, you'll understand how to access this consciously, how to use it, how to become irreplaceable.
But only if you stay until the end. Because we're about to reveal something that mainstream science doesn't want you to know. Something that physicists like Nassim Faraman, David Bohm, and others have been proving for decades. Something that explains the dimensional gateway.
And when you understand this mechanism, when you see how it works, you're going to have a choice to make.
You can go back to believing that your intuition is just a feeling, that synchronicity is just luck, that you're trapped in your body and your brain.
Or you can accept the truth, the scientific truth, the truth that's been proven in laboratories and declassified by governments.
The truth that you are far more powerful than you've been told, that your consciousness can access information beyond ordinary perception, that you have a gateway to dimensions of reality that most people don't even know exist.
So here's my ask. Stay with us. Don't skip ahead. Don't close this video. Because the next section is where everything comes together.
The next section is where you'll understand the quantum revolution, where you'll see the physics that proves all of this, where you'll realize that your intuition isn't a vague feeling, it's real, it's scientific, it's measurable.
And by the end of this video, you're going to have a complete understanding of how consciousness works, how you can access it, how you can use it to transform your life.
But you have to stay until the end. You have to see the full picture. You have to understand the complete mechanism.
So are you ready? Because we're about to show you the quantum revolution. We're about to show you the science that changes everything. We're about to show you the dimensional gateway.
You felt it before. You know you have.
A shiver with no reason. A silent discomfort before someone lies. Or that quiet certainty that something was going to happen, and it did.
You felt it. You knew it, but you probably dismissed it.
Well, it's time to completely redefine what you call intuition. The truth is, what you feel before you think is not an emotional accident. It's not random. It's not unreliable.
So what is it?
It's your consciousness in a quantum state, accessing an invisible field where information already exists. We're not talking about abstract spirituality here. We're talking about something physics calls the unified field.
The unified field?
The unified field. And the philosopher of science, David Bohm, called it the implicate order, a hidden dimension where everything is already interconnected, where all information already exists.
And you can access it?
Your body is already accessing it. Your body is an antenna connected to that field. While your mind is busy trying to understand the present, your body is already reacting to the future.
But how does that work exactly?
How does the body know before the mind? Imagine you're having a conversation with someone. Calm words, a smile on their face, everything seems right. But inside, something contracts, a subtle tension, a chill in your stomach.
That's intuition?
That's your nervous system reading the field. It's picking up micro-expressions, subtle patterns of behavior, and more than that, it's picking up non-local signals. It's like your body is receiving data that hasn't reached your mind yet.
That sounds impossible.
It sounds impossible until you look at the research. Studies on unconscious perception show that your heart and your gut, yes, your gut, react to stimuli before your brain processes them rationally.
So your gut knows the truth?
Your gut knows the truth before your thinking has time to invent an excuse. Your body is a radar for the invisible. Your body is reading information that your mind can't consciously detect.
And you can use this?
You can use this in serious decisions, in life choices, in predicting the unpredictable. Your body is constantly scanning the quantum field. It's constantly receiving information. You just have to learn to listen. You think of someone and the phone rings. You dream of a symbol and it appears on a billboard. We call it coincidence, but Darius Wright calls it dimensional resonance.
Dimensional resonance?
Dimensional resonance. What's happening here is an alignment in the quantum field of information. Your consciousness tunes into another person's consciousness. You're both receiving the same frequency of future reality.
So it's not random.
It's not random. It's not guessing. It's attunement. Like two violin strings vibrating together, even without touching. You're resonating with the same frequency. You're accessing the same information from the field.
And this happens all the time?
It happens all the time. Most people don't notice it. Most people dismiss it as luck. But once you start paying attention, you realize these aren't coincidences. These are signals. These are your consciousness and the field communicating.
And if that resonance is trainable?
What if you could choose the coincidences you want to experience? What if you could consciously attune to the frequencies that serve you? That's the power we're talking about. For centuries, we've been taught that thinking is more noble than feeling, that the body is flawed, that the mind is rational. But what if that's the greatest inversion in the history of science?
What do you mean?
Darius Wright points out the reason intuition has been ridiculed for so long isn't because it doesn't work. It's because it works too well.
Too well?
Too well. A human being who trusts their own perception can't be controlled. They become sovereign, inconvenient, free. And that's exactly what the system doesn't want.
So intuition was suppressed?
Intuition was suppressed. Your greatest power was disguised as weakness. Your direct access to truth was labeled as unreliable emotion. Your body's knowing was dismissed as irrational feeling.
But that's changing.
That's changing, because the science is proving what your body already knows. Intuition is real. It's powerful. It's your access to the quantum field.
But how do you know it's not just fear disguised as intuition?
That's the biggest question. And Darius has a clear answer. Fear is reactive. Fear is loud. Fear is based on trauma and conditioning. It comes with anxiety. It comes with urgency.
And intuition?
Intuition is calm. Intuition is silent. Intuition already knows. Intuition doesn't shout, it whispers. It doesn't come with anxiety, it comes with certainty. It's that inner voice that speaks once but leaves an echo that doesn't go away.
So you can feel the difference.
You can absolutely feel the difference. Once you learn to distinguish between them, you can trust your intuition completely, because intuition is your consciousness speaking. Fear is your conditioning speaking.
And intuition is always right?
Intuition is always accurate, because intuition is accessing the quantum field. It's reading the implicate order. It's reading information that's already there. It can't be wrong. Before doubt, before judgment, before reasoning, there's an immediate response. It's almost physical, almost instinctive.
What is that?
Darius calls it the first knowing. It's the moment when your consciousness captures the quantum field before interference from the analytical mind.
The first knowing?
The first knowing. It's like a photograph taken before the light changes, and it's always more accurate than the thoughts that come after.
Why?
Because the first knowing is pure access to the field. It hasn't been filtered through doubt. It hasn't been contaminated by logic. It hasn't been second-guessed by fear. It's direct. It's clean. It's true.
So you should trust your first instinct?
You should trust your first instinct absolutely. Because your first instinct is your quantum consciousness speaking. Your first instinct is the unified field expressing itself through you. Your first instinct is truth.
And what comes after?
What comes after is your thinking mind trying to make sense of what your body already knows. What comes after is doubt. What comes after is rationalization. What comes after is almost always wrong.
So the first knowing is the most powerful?
The first knowing is the most powerful. Learn to trust it. Learn to recognize it. Learn to act on it, and you'll be able to see the invisible before it manifests. Intuition is not mysticism. It's not just feeling. It's a tool for interdimensional navigation. It's direct access to the implicate order. It's the GPS of non-local consciousness.
And everyone has this?
Everyone has this. Your body is already guiding you. You just need to stop silencing it. You just need to start listening. You just need to trust what you already know.
So what's next?
Now it's time to reveal the final secret. How this consciousness crosses dimensions. How it navigates the invisible. How you can activate this access consciously and practically.
In the next section?
In the next section, the mechanism of the dimensional gateway. How it works. How you can enter through it. And if you thought everything so far was powerful, what comes next is going to turn your world upside down in the best way possible.
Are you ready?
Because we're about to show you how to access consciousness that transcends space and time. We're about to show you the mechanism that science has been hiding. We're about to show you your true power.
Imagine your mind is a radio.
Now imagine that reality is made of frequencies.
When you tune into the right station, you start picking up something that goes beyond logic, something that's been broadcasting the whole time.
That's the dimensional gateway. And now you're going to understand how it works, not as a mystical theory, but as a conscious map of reality. Rupert Sheldrake, a British biologist, dared to say the unthinkable. There's an invisible field where all lived knowledge is stored.
An invisible field?
An invisible field. He called it morphic resonance. Think of it like a spiritual Google, an energetic library shared by all living beings.
How does that work?
When a group of rats learns to escape a maze in London,
Rats on the other side of the world learn faster. They access the same field of information, even without physical contact.
So information spreads through the field.
Information spreads through the field. Now extend that to humans, to your intuitions, to those brilliant ideas that pop up in multiple people at the same time. You're accessing the collective field of the species.
So I'm not just thinking my own thoughts?
You're not just thinking your own thoughts. You're accessing a shared consciousness. You're tuning in to a Wi-Fi of the mind that's always broadcasting.
But if there's a Wi-Fi of consciousness, who else is connected?
And who's controlling the router? Terence McKenna, the alchemist of thought, said that shamans aren't superstitious. They're scientists of consciousness. They didn't read books. They read the field.
They read the field?
They read the field with rituals, plants, rhythmic beats, and silence. They accessed layers of reality that science is only now detecting with electrodes and magnetic resonance.
They were navigating other dimensions?
They were navigating between worlds, and they came back with wisdom, with internal maps of other planes, with knowledge that couldn't have come from ordinary consciousness.
And neuroscience is discovering this?
Neuroscience is discovering that the brain literally changes state during these rituals, and that these states of consciousness are portals to other dimensional addresses. The shamans had the code. Science is now verifying it.
So these addresses are accessible to anyone?
These addresses are accessible to anyone with the right code. And that code is what we're about to teach you. Darius Wright brought together science, ancestral wisdom, and psychic phenomena into a single map, the 12 realms of consciousness.
12 realms?
12 realms. Each realm is like a floor in a multi-dimensional building. On the ground floor, we have ordinary consciousness, logic, ego, survival. On the upper floors, we have deep intuition, symbolic consciousness, energetic perception, unified field consciousness.
So you move between floors?
You move between floors. Moving from one floor to another is like tuning an invisible instrument inside you. And here's what's incredible. You already visit these floors in dreams, in synchronicities, in meditation. You just don't realize you're moving between dimensions.
But you can do it consciously?
You can do it consciously. You can learn to move between realms deliberately. You can access information from each realm. You can bring that information back into ordinary consciousness.
How?
That's what we're about to show you. The dimensional gateway isn't a physical door. It's a turning point in your perception.
A turning point?
Your consciousness moves on a spectrum. On one side, linear thinking, trapped in time and space. On the other side, pure consciousness, accessing everything outside of time.
And the gateway?
The gateway is the shift between them. The trigger, presence, intention, and surrender.
Surrender?
When you calm the mind, expand attention, and release control, something magical happens. You change stations. You start receiving information that wasn't available before.
And that's when intuition becomes a tool?
That's when intuition becomes a tool, not just inspiration. You're no longer waiting for flashes of insight. You're actively accessing information from higher dimensions.
Remember morphic resonance? When you enter the dimensional gateway, you don't just access your own consciousness. You tune into the collective mind of humanity.
The collective mind. That's why certain ideas emerge at the same time in different people. That's why during global crises, everyone seems to feel something strange in the air. We're all sharing the same quantum field of data.
So we're all connected?
We're all connected. When you enter the field, you're not just remembering, you're reconnecting. You're accessing the wisdom of everyone who's ever accessed that realm before.
And what happens when millions of people access the same field at the same time?
That's when collective consciousness shifts. That's when reality transforms. That's when the world changes. What shamans knew through experience, physics now measures with equations. What monks described with metaphors, neuroscience now captures in brain graphs.
So they were describing the same thing?
They were describing the same thing. Dimensions aren't places. They're modes of perception. And when you change your internal state, you enter another reality, even though you're in the same physical location.
The bridge between worlds?
The bridge between worlds isn't made of stone. It's made of attention, frequency, and consciousness. You've already crossed that bridge thousands of times. You just didn't know it was there. Now you know the dimensional gateway is real.
It's activated by specific states of consciousness?
It's activated by specific states of consciousness. It connects you to layers of reality where time is different, truth is clearer, and answers already exist.
And it's accessible?
It's accessible. For you, right now. You don't need special abilities. You don't need to be born psychic. You just need to learn the code. Knowing isn't enough. Feeling is the beginning. Practicing is the gateway.
So what's next?
In the next section, you're going to learn the practical techniques to activate the dimensional gateway consciously, how to enter altered states safely, how to distinguish field data from mental illusions, how to bring answers and intuitions into your daily life.
Practical techniques?
Practical techniques. Methods you can use today. Methods that work. Methods that will unlock everything.
If what you've seen so far has moved you,
What comes next is going to unlock it all. Stay with us because the activation is about to begin.
So you understand the theory now. You understand the mechanism. You understand that the dimensional gateway is real. But now comes the question that matters.
How do you actually activate it?
How do you access it practically? Because understanding is one thing, but using it, that's where the real power emerges. And here's the beautiful part. It's not mystical. It's not complicated. Your body already knows how to do this.
My body already knows?
Your body already knows. You've been activating the dimensional gateway your whole life. In dreams, in moments of deep presence, in synchronicities, in intuitive flashes. You just haven't been doing it consciously.
So I just need to make it conscious?
You just need to make it conscious. You just need to recognize what's happening. You just need to learn the code. And then you can activate it on demand. The first technique is simple. Quiet the brain thinking.
How do you do that?
You do it by shifting your attention away from your thinking mind. Your thinking mind is like a radio that's always on. It's always broadcasting. It's always trying to figure things out. It's always analyzing. It's always judging.
And you need to turn it off?
You need to turn down the volume. You don't need to turn it off completely. That's impossible. But you need to reduce its dominance. You need to create space for something else to emerge.
How?
Here's the practical method. Notice your thoughts without engaging with them. When a thought arises, don't follow it, don't analyze it, don't judge it. Just notice it. Let it pass, like clouds moving across the sky.
That's it?
That's it. This is the observer practice we talked about in the first video. You're creating space between your awareness and your thoughts. And in that space, something shifts. The thinking mind loses its grip, and your consciousness naturally expands.
How long does it take?
Some people feel the shift immediately. Some people need a few minutes. But the key is consistency. The more you practice, the faster you can shift. Eventually, you can quiet the thinking mind in seconds.
And when you do?
When you do, you access a different state of consciousness. You access the dimensional gateway. You start receiving information from higher realms. The second technique is feel instead of think.
What does that mean?
It means shifting your attention from your head to your body. Most people live in their heads. They're constantly thinking, analyzing, figuring things out. But the gateway isn't accessed through thinking. It's accessed through feeling.
Feeling?
Feeling. Your body is the antenna. Your body is the receiver. Your body has direct access to the quantum field.
So instead of trying to think your way to an answer, you feel your way to it.
How do you do that practically?
Here's the method. When you have a question, instead of thinking about it, bring your attention to your body. Notice what you feel. In your chest? In your gut? In your heart? What does your body know about this?
And the answer comes?
The answer comes, not as a thought, but as a knowing, as a sensation, as a felt sense. Your body knows things your thinking mind doesn't know. Your body is connected to the field. Your body is receiving information constantly.
So you bypass the thinking mind?
You bypass the thinking mind. You go directly to the source. You access the information through your body's direct connection to the quantum field.
And this is reliable?
This is far more reliable than thinking, because thinking is filtered through conditioning. Thinking is limited to what your brain can process. But feeling is direct access to the field. The third technique is trust the first knowing.
We talked about this before.
We talked about it, but now we're going to use it as a practical technique, because your first knowing, your first intuitive response, is always accurate. It's your quantum consciousness accessing the implicate order. It's your body accessing the unified field.
Always?
Always. It's what comes after that's the problem. It's the doubt, it's the second guessing, it's the thinking mind trying to rationalize away what your body already knows.
So you should act on your first instinct?
You should trust your first instinct. Here's the practical method. When you get an intuitive hit, when you feel a knowing arise, don't question it, don't analyze it, don't wait for more information. Act on it immediately.
Even if it doesn't make logical sense?
Especially if it doesn't make logical sense. Because if it made logical sense, your thinking mind would have figured it out already. The fact that it doesn't make logical sense means it's coming from a higher dimension. It's coming from the dimensional gateway.
And you can trust that?
You can absolutely trust that. Your first knowing is your consciousness accessing information that's beyond ordinary perception. Your first knowing is truth.
But what if you're wrong?
You won't be wrong. Not in the way you think. Because even if the outcome is different than what you expected, the knowing was accurate. Your intuition was reading the field correctly. You were accessing truth. The results might surprise you, but the intuition was right. The fourth technique is verify through results.
What does that mean?
It means you don't have to believe anything on faith. You don't have to trust the theory. You can verify this yourself through direct experience, through results.
How?
Here's the method. Start small. Use these techniques on small decisions. Notice what happens. Track the results. See if your intuition is accurate. See if the dimensional gateway is real.
What kind of small decisions?
What kind of person should I talk to today? Which route should I take? Should I call this person? Should I open this email? Small things, but things where you can verify the results quickly.
And then?
And then you notice the pattern. You notice that when you trust your intuition, things work out. When you follow your first knowing, you end up in the right place at the right time. When you access the dimensional gateway, you get the information you need.
So you're building evidence.
You're building evidence. You're verifying through your own experience that the dimensional gateway is real. You're proving to yourself that intuition works. You're demonstrating that consciousness can access information beyond ordinary perception.
And that changes everything.
That changes everything, because once you've verified it yourself, once you've seen the results, you can't go back to doubting it. You know it's real, you know it works, and you can use it with confidence. Let me give you some practical examples of how these techniques work together.
Please.
Example 1. You're at a party. You don't know many people. Your thinking mind says, stay in the corner. Don't talk to anyone. You might embarrass yourself.
That's brain thinking?
That's brain thinking. But then you feel something, a pull toward a particular person, a knowing that you should talk to them. That's your first knowing. That's the dimensional gateway. You quiet the thinking mind, you feel instead of think, you trust the first knowing. You go talk to that person.
And?
And it turns out they're exactly the person you needed to meet. They have information you needed. They become a friend. They change your life. Your intuition was accessing the field. Your intuition knew.
That's verification through results.
That's verification through results. You trusted your intuition. You got a positive outcome. You've proven to yourself that the dimensional gateway works.
Another example?
Example 2. You're deciding between 2 job offers. Your thinking mind is analyzing pros and cons. It's trying to figure out which one is better, logically. But you're confused. You don't know which to choose.
So you use the techniques.
You use the techniques. You quiet the thinking mind. You bring your attention to your body. You feel which job resonates. You notice your first knowing. One job feels expansive. One feels constrictive. You trust the feeling. You take the job that feels expansive. And 6 months later, you realize that job was perfect for you. The other job would have been a disaster. Your intuition was accessing information about the future. Your intuition was reading the field. Your intuition was right. So these techniques actually work?
These techniques actually work because they're not creating anything new. They're not making up information. They're simply helping you access information that's already available. They're helping you tune into the dimensional gateway that's always broadcasting. Here's how you use all 4 techniques together. First, you quiet the thinking mind. You create space. You shift into the observer state. Second, you feel instead of think. You bring your attention to your body. You ask your body the question. Third, you trust the first knowing. You notice the immediate response. You don't second guess it. Fourth, you verify through results. You act on it. You see what happens. You track the outcomes.
And this activates the dimensional gateway?
This activates the dimensional gateway. This is how you consciously access the quantum field. This is how you shift your consciousness into higher realms. This is how you become irreplaceable.
So now you have the techniques. You have the practical methods. You have the code to activate the dimensional gateway.
And I can start using these today. You can start using these today, right now, with your next decision, with your next question, with your next moment of uncertainty.
What happens when I do?
When you do, you'll start noticing something. You'll start getting intuitive hits that are accurate. You'll start accessing information you couldn't access before. You'll start experiencing synchronicities. You'll start seeing the invisible.
And that's the dimensional gateway?
That's the dimensional gateway. That's your consciousness accessing the unified field. That's you becoming irreplaceable.
So what's next?
Next, we're going to show you the evidence. We're going to show you the scientific studies that prove all of this. We're going to show you the researchers who validated these findings. We're going to show you why the mainstream is finally accepting what we've been saying all along.
Okay, so you've got all these techniques, you understand the quantum physics, but now comes the skeptic voice in your head.
Is this really scientific, or am I just believing in fairy tales?
Fair question. I mean, we're literally asking you to trust your gut over your brain. That's wild.
It is wild. But here's the thing. It's not just wild. It's also scientifically validated. Which is hilarious because science spent 300 years saying intuition was nonsense. And now they're like, wait, it actually works?
So there's evidence?
Oh, there's evidence. And it's ridiculous how much evidence there is. It's like the universe is screaming, hey, consciousness is real. And scientists are like, let us run 47 more studies to be sure. Princeton University. You know, the place where really smart people go. They have been running something called the Global Consciousness Project for 30 years.
30 years? That's commitment.
Right? They put random number generators around the world. And here's the funny part. During major world events, when millions of people are emotionally focused on the same thing, the random numbers stop being random.
They just stop being random?
They align. They synchronize. It's like the universe is saying, yo, consciousness is real. Look at these numbers. And Princeton is like, okay, let's measure it again, just to be sure.
So consciousness affects physical reality?
Consciousness affects physical reality, which means your mind isn't just in your head. It's literally touching the world around you. But sure, let's keep pretending intuition is just a feeling.
That's wild.
It's wild, and it's published, peer-reviewed, documented, but most people don't know about it because it doesn't fit the narrative. Stanford University did studies on precognition, the ability to see the future. And the results were awkward for the skeptics.
Awkward how?
People predicted future events at 60 to 70% accuracy, when random chance is 50%. That's like flipping a coin and getting hit 70% of the time. Eventually, you gotta ask, is this coin rigged or is something else going on?
So precognition is real?
Precognition is real. Your consciousness literally perceives the future. But here's the funny part. When you tell people this, they don't believe you. They'd rather believe in luck than believe in their own power.
Why?
Because if intuition is real, if precognition is real, then they can't blame external circumstances anymore. They have to take responsibility, and that's terrifying for people.
That's actually true.
It's true. So we have scientific proof that you can see the future. And most people are like, nah, I'll just keep worrying about things I can't control. Duke University validated remote viewing. That's the ability to perceive places you've never been to, just with your mind.
How accurate were they?
70 to 80% accuracy, when chance would be 20%. That's not a coincidence. That's not luck. That's your consciousness literally traveling across space.
So you can see anywhere in the world?
You can see anywhere in the world, without a camera, without a drone, without leaving your couch. Your consciousness is basically Google Maps, but better. It actually works.
Why isn't everyone doing this?
Because people are weird. They'd rather spend money on technology than develop their own consciousness. They'd rather believe they're limited than test their own power.
That's actually sad.
It's sad. We have proof that consciousness can perceive across distance. And people are like, cool story, bro. Anyway, let me scroll TikTok. Heart Math Institute discovered that your heart has its own intelligence, its own electromagnetic field, 5,000 times stronger than your brain's.
Wait, your heart is smarter than your brain?
Not smarter, different. Your heart receives information from the quantum field before your brain processes it consciously. So when you get that gut feeling, that's your heart talking. Your heart already knows.
So the saying, follow your heart, is actually scientific?
Follow your heart is literally scientific advice. We've been saying it for thousands of years, and now science is like, yeah, actually, that's accurate. Thanks for catching up, science.
So your heart is your real GPS.
Your heart is your real GPS. Your brain is the passenger backseat driver saying, but logically, we should turn left. And your heart is like, nah, we turning right. Trust me. And then there's the CIA, the most paranoid, skeptical, data-driven organization on Earth. They funded remote viewing for 20 years, millions of dollars, real operations.
Why would the CIA fund something mystical?
Because it works. And the CIA doesn't care about mysticism. They care about results. If remote viewing gets them intelligence they can't get any other way, they're going to use it.
So the government was using psychic spies?
The government was using psychic spies. And when it was declassified, people were like, wait, what? Yeah, your tax dollars went to training people to see with their minds.
That's insane.
It's insane. And it's documented. You can read the declassified files. You can see the evidence. But most people don't know about it because, well, it doesn't fit the story they've been told.
What story?
The story that you're powerless, that your mind is just a biological computer, that consciousness is an accident, that intuition is unreliable. That story is very profitable for people in power, so they keep telling it. But here's the thing that really matters. Millions of people have experienced this directly. They've had intuitive hits that changed their lives. They felt synchronicities. They've accessed information they couldn't explain.
Is that scientific?
Yes, because science is observation and evidence. And millions of people observing the same thing, that's data, that's evidence, that's more reliable than a single study.
So, personal experience counts?
Personal experience counts. In fact, it's the most important evidence because you can't argue with your own life. You can't dismiss your own experience. You can only test it.
Test it?
Test it. That's the key. Don't believe me. Don't believe Princeton. Don't believe the CIA. Test it yourself. Use the techniques. See what happens. That's the real evidence. That's the real validation. But you might be wondering, if the evidence is so overwhelming, why don't everyone know about it?
Why don't they?
Because accepting this evidence means admitting that 300 years of science was wrong. It means admitting that consciousness is fundamental. It means admitting that your mind is more powerful than we've been told.
And that's a problem?
That's a huge problem for institutions, for careers, for power structures. Because if you realize your intuition is real, if you realize your consciousness is powerful, if you realize you have access to truth, you become ungovernable.
Ungovernable?
You can't be manipulated. You can't be controlled. You can't be sold lies because you're accessing truth directly. And that's terrifying for people who profit from your ignorance.
So there's a conspiracy?
Not a conspiracy, just incentives. Institutions have incentives to keep you believing you're powerless. So they do. But the evidence is leaking out. The data is undeniable. The paradigm is shifting. Right now, we're in the middle of a paradigm shift. The old materialist worldview is crumbling, and it's hilarious watching it happen.
Why is it hilarious?
Because science is finally catching up to what mystics have been saying for thousands of years. Shamans, consciousness can navigate dimensions. Science, that's impossible. Shamans, okay, we'll wait. 2,000 years later, science, wait, consciousness can navigate dimensions.
So the shamans were right all along?
The shamans were right. The mystics were right. The sages were right. And now science is like, we validated your experience. You can stop doubting yourselves now.
But people still doubt?
People still doubt. Because doubt is comfortable. Doubt means you don't have to take responsibility. Doubt means you can keep blaming external circumstances. Doubt means you can stay small.
That's actually true.
It's true. So we have scientific proof that you can see the future. And most people are like, nah, I would just keep worrying about things I can't control. Duke University validated remote viewing. That's the ability to perceive places you've never been to, just with your mind.
So now you know. The evidence is overwhelming. The dimensional gateway is real. Intuition is scientific. Consciousness is proven.
But knowing isn't enough.
Because knowledge without action is just information, and information without integration is just noise.
So what do you do now?
That's what this final section is about. First, I want you to recognize something. Everything you've heard in this video, the quantum physics, the ancient wisdom, the scientific evidence, it's not new to you.
What do you mean?
I mean that you've experienced this. You've felt the dimensional gateway. You've accessed your intuition. You've had moments of knowing that you couldn't explain. You've experienced synchronicities. You've felt the truth of what we're talking about.
So this is validation?
This is validation. This is science confirming what your body has always known. This is research validating your lived experience. This is proof that you're not crazy, you're not delusional, you're not making it up.
You're accessing something real?
You're accessing something real. And now you have a name for it. Now you have a framework for it. Now you have permission to trust it. So, I want to ask you some questions. And I want you to really sit with these questions. Don't just think about them, feel them.
What are the questions?
First question. When was the last time you felt something in your gut that turned out to be true? When was the last time your intuition was right?
Second question?
Second question. What would change in your life if you trusted that intuition completely? What would you do differently? Where would you go? Who would you become?
Third question?
Third question. What's one decision you're facing right now where you're torn between logic and intuition? What does your body know about that decision?
And fourth?
Fourth question. If you knew that your intuition was scientifically proven to be accurate, would you trust it more? Would you act on it? Would you change your life?
Those are powerful questions.
Those are the questions that matter, because your answers to these questions will determine what happens next. So here's what I want you to do, right now. Don't wait. Don't put this off.
What do you want them to do?
I want you to write down your answers to those 4 questions. Just a few sentences, just your honest response. Write down what you felt. Write down what you know.
And then?
And then, I want you to comment, right here. Share one of your answers. Share what you felt during this video. Share what resonated with you. Share what moved you.
Why comment?
Because when you put it into words, you integrate it. When you share it, you amplify it. And because you're not alone, there's a community here. People who are awakening. People who are accessing their intuition. People who are becoming irreplaceable.
And your comment matters?
Your comment matters. Because when you share your experience, you inspire others. When you speak your truth, you give others permission to speak theirs. When you acknowledge what you felt, you validate what others are feeling. And here's something crucial. Share this video with someone who's ready.
Ready for what?
Ready for this information. Ready to question the narratives. Ready to trust their intuition. Ready to access the dimensional gateway. Not everyone is ready, and that's okay. But there are people who are.
How do you know who's ready?
You feel it. Your intuition knows. You'll recognize them. They're the ones who've been asking questions, the ones who felt something was missing, the ones who've trusted their gut even when logic said otherwise, the ones who are ready to wake up.
And you should share this with them?
You should absolutely share this with them. Send them this video. Talk about it. Discuss what you felt. Because each person who awakens, each person who accesses their intuition, each person who becomes irreplaceable, they change the field. They shift the collective consciousness. They contribute to the paradigm shift that's happening right now.
So sharing matters.
Sharing matters, because this information isn't meant to be kept hidden. This information is meant to spread. It's meant to awaken. It's meant to liberate. And if this has resonated with you, if you felt the truth of what we're talking about, then subscribe. Because there's more coming. There are more videos that will deepen this, that will show you how to use the dimensional gateway in your daily life, that will teach you the AYDA method in detail, that will transform how you navigate reality. You don't want to miss that. So subscribe, turn on notifications, make sure you see the next video when it drops. The journey is just beginning, and you're part of it. So let me say this clearly one more time. Your intuition is real.
It's scientific.
It's scientific, it's proven, it's validated by the most respected institutions on Earth. It's declassified by governments. It's experienced by millions of people.
And it's accessible?
It's accessible to you right now. You don't need special abilities. You don't need to be born psychic. You just need to learn to recognize it, learn to trust it, learn to use it. When you do, everything changes. You're no longer dependent on external authorities. You're no longer trapped in the prison of conditioning. You're no longer limited to what your thinking mind can process. You're free. You're sovereign. You're irreplaceable. Now, there are 2 videos on your screen right now. You should absolutely click 1. Choose your next journey. Continue your awakening. Because the path is open. The gateway is accessible, and your next step is waiting. Your intuition has been calling you. Your body has been trying to tell you. Your consciousness has been knocking on the door, and now you know the dimensional gateway is real. The door is open, and you're ready to walk through it.
So what are you waiting for?
Click, watch, awaken. Your journey continues now.